Welcome back to iVillage Live, the show that celebrates you. We want you to be part of the fun, so log on to ivillagelive.com and chat with us. We've just been talking about how to deal with your teen and their behavior, and our chat rooms, of course, are buzzing with this subject. For example, Airborne Wife is saying, if you're already afraid of your teen, then you have lost the battle. The Tank says, my teen is so not an adult. And Crazy Wife Chicago says, they're sooner or later going to be introduced to drugs, sex, etc. So I would rather they hear about these difficult subjects from me. Well, an interesting yet frightening statistic shows a staggering 92% of American children have lied to their parents in the past year. So what do parents do about this?
We're continuing our conversation with family therapist Hal Runkel. That's a staggering statistic.
It is.
92%?
I would think it's even higher.
I hope it's like I haven't made my bed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
not that I've been drinking. And
sure.
This is what we really want to talk to you now about. How you talk to teenagers. Because not all of them have huge problems.
No, not at all.
There are people sitting out there like, we're just having a little communication difficulty. And how do we keep, let's say there's a little problem now.
Right.
How do we keep it from developing into a huge problem?
What can I do to make myself the #1 resource in my kid's life? That they would come to me.
That is the #1 goal, I think, of every parent.
It should be. Absolutely not, what can I do to make sure my kid never makes a mistake? Or never makes a bad grade?
How do we do it?
If we return the focus to ourselves, not focus so much on them, focus on how do I want to behave? Even when they don't behave, how do I want to behave? It's a fundamentally different shift, thinking more about my behavior. And also, I'm going to make a fundamental commitment to myself to be cool. The cool parent. Every kid, says they want to have cool parents. That doesn't mean parents with no rules whatsoever.
Yes, so that doesn't mean that you're the cool house where kids can drink and party.
No. It does mean, though, that mom doesn't flip out no matter what.
No matter what? Because this is
matter what.
Airborne Wife in our chat room is just absolutely flummoxed by this and wondering, does that mean you never yell at them under any circumstance?
Well, maybe duck or something, if they're... But I'm not... The more we yell at them, the more they just work harder to tune us out. Yeah. That's the problem. No, I don't yell at them. I don't. And I don't encourage the parents that I work with to ever yell at their kids. Okay. Because that's acting just as immature as they are. It's when I lose it with my kids, what's the it in that sentence?
So
adulthood.
When you say be the cool parent, you mean like keeping your cool?
Keeping your cool no matter what. They say, you know what, you can bring anything to me. Right. And I may not be able to give you a brilliant response right then. That's not about saying all the right things at all the right times, but it is about, I'm not going to get reactive. I will be responsive, but I'm not going to get reactive, because when I get reactive, I automatically just make things worse.
They do, and they shut down.
Automatically.
How do we respect their privacy? Because I know there are parents out here, I have teenage sons, I have a 5-year-old daughter. It's very difficult when you walk into their room and something's there for you to see.
Exactly.
That you don't see it.
I don't walk into their room. I knock.
You knock.
Because all I'm doing by saying, some parents say, I need to protect my kids from themselves. So I'm going to look through their book bag. I'm going to look through their room every day. All you're teaching them is to become better hiders.
Wow.
That's it. I want to extend respect to them. Say, you know what? This world is about growing more and more space around you about which you have complete say. That's what becoming an adult is. So I'm going to help that process. I'm going to give you more responsibility than you've even asked for. I'm going to give you more privacy than you've even asked for, because it's my job to help prepare you for life.
Doesn't Hal sound like an absolutely wonderful dad? I mean, you do sound like super... How old are your own kids?
I don't have kids. Just theory. I have 2 kids, and they're 10 and 7 at this time.
So you're getting ready for those teenage
Well, it's interesting.
years.
I've been working with teenagers. My wife's taught high school for 10 years, and I taught high school, and I love teenagers. And I've always been looking forward to it because, again, I think teenagers get a bad rap. I think they're automatically rebellious, and they're automatically going to drive you crazy. No, they're not. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you let the natural anxiety of parenting get best of you.
This almost went down, so I'm just told to get in place.
Good job. But you did it so calmly. It was nice.
Yeah.
Just to reach in.
But I had to draw attention to it. You say in the book that we have to give it the need to know why.
Yeah, because think about it. We ask our kids why. They don't know. They're looking inside them for some motivation. They don't know why they did something. And even if they did, If they said, you know what, here's why I broke curfew, because you know what, I was actually testing you because your curfew is this, and, or actually I was doing dope or whatever. Whatever reason they give you isn't going to make you more comfortable. It's going to make you more worried. Before I thought they were a total delinquent. Now I know for sure because they have this well thought out reason. There is no why. Just let them know, hey, you do that again, here's the consequence.
It's like ask a question, yeah, you may not like the answer.
Exactly.
But talking of delinquency, is there an argument that some kids are just different? So I was saying earlier, I was given a lot of latitude as a kid,
sure.
but it turned out fine, I guess because maybe I had an innate sense of responsibility, which we hope all people have.
Yes.
But are there possibly situations where a kid is just different from that
Sure.
and may not respond as well to that kind of leniency? For example, that's what MMC Swain is asking. Do you think kids are different? My husband says my 9-year-old tries stuff now that he himself, the husband, didn't do until he was a teenager.
Right. Yes, kids are different. But it doesn't take away the principles that I still have to give my kid choices. Because I don't have control over the choices my children make. I do have some control over the choices my children have. Right? If I control the choices they make, then they're not really making the choices. I want them to get experienced at developing this decision-making muscle. And the only way they get experience from that is by having a loving guide like me enforce the consequences and help them walk through that.
Hal, I have a question from a viewer, and it really ties into one of the things that you talked about, which is respect disagreements. And this is Karen in Chicago, and she says, I have a 14-year-old stepdaughter. I can relate, Karen. And I don't want to overstep my boundaries as a stepmom, but I want her to talk to me about the issues she's facing.
If you want your teenager to talk to you, then you have to give up the need for your teenager to talk to you. And what you communicate to them is, you know what, if you talk to me, that's wonderful. If you don't talk to me, that's okay too. It's not going to change how I feel about you. It's not going to change how I act towards you.
But we should open that line of communication. We can say, hey, is there anything you want to talk about?
Absolutely.
And then let it go.
And ask them about their life, Also, keep in mind, we'll talk to those people that we know really delight in being around us. That's who we'd like to talk with. And I always ask parents, when's the last time you were really delighted at just seeing your kids? Picking them up from school, you were just delighted. If you're not, then something's going on in your relationship with them. And it's not their fault. It's something about you.
That's amazing stuff. I love that.
Good.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank you, Hal.
Thanks, guys.
As usual.
I would love to just close this out with a comment from one of our chat rooms from Lauren Sue, who said, my mom has a sign in her kitchen which reads, nothing is better than watching your kids raise teens of their own.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the ultimate payback.
People always say it's easier said than done. Well, what isn't easier said than done?
Yeah,
that's right.
Parenting is difficult.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Hal.
Thanks,
for
guys.
more information about talking to your teens and Hal's scream-free approach to iVillage, go to ivillagelive.com and stick around because Hal will be answering your questions right after the show in our chat room. Well, coming up a little later in the show, Bob Oshak's putting your teen to the test. Bob?